Hello everyone and welcome to another high-elo game of Age of Empires. Today, a civilization with access to every single non-unique gunpowder unit in the game takes on a civilization with access to virtually no gunpowder units in the game, as FreakinAndy, playing as the Portuguese in green, takes on Mihai, playing as the Mongols in yellow. Now, while the players heard their herdables explore their immediate enclosed off surroundings, collapsing as they are, since we are in arena today, and try to get their butts up to Feudal, probably Castle Age. ASAP, not a bad time for us to take a look at the Civ matchup that we are going to be watching today. Now, the Portuguese are a civilization whose economic bonuses do allow it to take advantage of its pretty impressive gunpowder roster to get an early game boost to your economy. Portuguese foragers also generate wood while they collect their berries. All Portuguese units cost less gold. Their technologies are researched faster, except for going up to the next age. And speaking of going up to the next age, once you do hit Imperial, you do have access to your unique structure, the Feitoria, an economic building that auto-generates all 4 resources, but does come at the expense of 20 population space. Now, using all of these bonuses, features, the Portuguese can field an impressive gunpowder-based army, since they're the only, rather they have, pardon me, since they have access to every single non-unique gunpowder unit in the game, and all of these gunpowder units can be upgraded to fire more accurately at moving targets. Think ballistics for gunpowder, and also to increase the speed of their projectiles, which does strongly benefit their unique unit, the organ gun. This is a siege unit that fires 5, or I should say a gunpowder siege unit that fires 5 or 6 bullets in a small spread, designed to hit multiple targets at once, and one that does come with a small attack bonus against infantry, skirmishers, and even buildings. Now, speaking of firing Portuguese bullets at buildings, let's take a look at the target of some of those bullets. The Mongols, we saw them yesterday, an incredibly fast cavalry-centric civilization. Their scout line units have extra line of sight, which on a map like Arena may come in very useful once Mihai decides to stop pushing his pushables and go out on the map to explore relics, which he already has seen 2 of. Their cavalry archers fire faster, their scout line units and their steppe lancers all get progressively more HP as the game goes on, starting in the Castle Age. And their unique unit is the Mangadai, a fast-firing, quick cavalry archer with an attack bonus against siege units. Now, to help keep up with an incredibly fast army on the battlefield, the Mongols can actually upgrade their siege to move 50% faster, which does make them look like little tiny bumper cars on the screen, which is always fun to watch. And economically, their hunters do work 40% faster, and their houses, of all things, can be upgraded so that they don't lose population space if those houses get destroyed. So them be the 2 civilizations that we are watching today. Let's see how many relics the players have seen so far, because on Arena, generally, I mean, look at that already, seeing 3 relics with that line of sight. Mihai has, FreakinAndy hasn't seen a single relic. He has come very close to seeing them, but has not actually, and now he's heading into a bit of a dead zone here. Oh no, okay. Line of sight on your unit, line of sight on my unit, says the Mongol. But in any event, let's discuss the 3 stages generally you find on Arena, aside from things like tower and castle pushes and you know, quick Imperial for the Turks and whatnot. And then we'll take a look at where the resources are located, because I already see an amazing patch for our Portuguese. Actually, let's do that first. On Arena, you really are curious, or you really do want to make a special note of where your internal resources are. Everyone starts with extra gold and stone outside of their main settlement, gold and stone over here. But the real question is, how close are your internals, your organs, your vital organs of gold and stone to the walls, and how easily are they lamed, including, by the way, boars. If you have a boar that starts over here, your opponent can easily try to lame them in all kind of ranked ladder shenanigans. So all 3 internals here for our Portuguese, who in the Dark Age is already getting a mining camp, whereas Mihai already has a mining camp up. So his primary stone is in the forward position. I wonder what that's for, 30 seconds away from Feudal Age. This is kind of in the forward position, but not really super duper exposed. Our Mongol says, forget the berries. I'm going to just rush up to Feudal Age off the back of 17 villagers, whereas it looks like our Portuguese is doing a bit of a more standard fast castle, probably 22, 23 villagers, and he's going to click up. But he's going to click up under risk of possibly, yep, there it is, a tower push out of our Mongol. Now, did he see? No, if he saw the berries were here, and this is the issue with scouting in the Dark Age, if you're not familiar with how scouts work, in the Dark Age, their stats are pretty bad. And then they kind of jump up percentage-wise significantly in the Feudal Age. Line of sight goes crazy. Attack goes crazy. Speed movement increases. All of these things become much better. So had our Mongol, been here maybe a few seconds later in Feudal Age, and with the extra line of sight on the Mongol scout, probably would have put the tower here to try to lame the berries. Because remember, these guys are also generating wood every time they pick a berry off that. What is it? What do berries grow on? Branches? Leaves? I don't know. Again, I am a city person, so at most I've picked some apples and strawberries and been to a pumpkin patch or two in my life. But in any event, this, by the way, feature is as cool as the pole stone miner, because it is 1 wood for every 3 berries collected, and now risking the life of the villager, the life and limb of this one Portuguese villager, as Andy rushes up to Feudal Age himself. But look at his resources. Mihai's investing a lot in this tower push, whereas Andy is playing it cool as a cucumber right now. And pretty much, okay, I'm assuming by the time his 2 structures are going to be up, first one is going up already, a market. Oh, and he finds a perfect little corner to build this structure out of that will block, with those 2 flanking houses, entry into this base. But in comes fletching for our Mongol, which extends that. So in any event, I was about to talk about the 3 metas that you usually find, 3-part meta rather, that you usually find on Arena, where everyone rushes up to castle, then stage 2 where they fight over the relics, and then stage 3, once all 5 relics have been accounted for, then they get into late castle Imperial Age. They start laying claim to certain parts of the map and building their armies, but it doesn't look like we're going to see any of that today. Right now, even though there are 0 kills, there is a bit of a Mongol army here. 4 archers, a scout. FreakinAndy is 20 food away. He can force drop, I believe, these cow killers and immediately hit up to the next age, and that's exactly what happens. He is going up to Castle Age. 6 villagers on stone. So he is going to respond. Oh, interesting. I was going to say he's going to respond with a castle, but he may not have enough time to respond with a castle. Villagers do come, if you're not familiar, with a +6 attack bonus against stone defense, which does include a wall being a stone defensive structure. Meanwhile, Mihai is getting loom. I mean, he must suspect that his opponent's going up to castle. Hey, get back to work. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he sees just a tower here and thinking that, hey, Andy's going to try to defend this in Feudal Age. Tower versus tower style. Okay, let's see how this all plays out. Honestly, a very interesting matchup, these two. Like I said, the Mongols, I think the only gunpowder unit that they get in the game is the cannon galleon, which means on Arena, we're not going to see any any gunpowder units out of them. They don't even get the bombard tower. So no hand cannoneers, no BBCs, no, I guess, elite cannon galleon, no bombard towers. Whereas the Portuguese have access to all of them, and in 26 seconds, he's going to have 550 stone. Will he buy the last 100, or will he be a little patient? Actually, he's already up to 600. Won't have to buy anything, to be honest. I think he did buy a bit. I think I saw something on the left side of the screen. I generally... I will admit, one of my many faults is that I probably should pay attention more to the quote-unquote balancing and rebalancing of economies in this game. Okay, castle's going up. The Mongol sees it. He's still trying to bust into here despite a castle being built by 13 or 12 villagers. No, never mind, by 9 villagers. At this point, what do you do as Mihai? Do you cancel wheelbarrow? Oh, he is doubling down in Feudal Age. Okay. Is he gonna try to... You gonna try to hold this? Or try to contain this, rather? Now, this is a very interesting play here out of Mihai, because towers, as cool as they are, I mean, they might have soft contained A third one. They may have soft contained the southeast portion of this Portuguese base, but this is arena. You have another side. Like everybody, you have two sides to your base where you can exit from. And a petard and organ guns are en route. I love that he trained 2 organ guns first to send them along their merry way. By the way, 1 petard should be enough. Houses like scouts that become, you know, better Dark Age to feudal, they become stronger feudal to castle. So right now they have 1080 HP, and in Castle Age it jumps up to 1800. And because they have 1080 HP, 1 petard is enough, because they have a 900 attack bonus against wall and gate, and then 500 against building. And this structure has both of those. So 1400 bonus damage is enough to get rid of this. And all of a sudden, Mihai's bush is not looking very scary. And now he's heading up to castle. But is it too little too late? Let's see if I'm right about the, yep. Is it too little too late? He is heading up to the Castle Age, but whereas the stone is nice and secure to the back for our Portuguese, for our Mongol, it is very much on the attack path. And our Portuguese is now just going to be laying waste to everything here. Even a single tower should not be enough to push this off, not with 4 pierce armor. And if he garrisons the villagers, all the better for our Portuguese. This is 5 villagers, 6, 7 that are doing nothing at the moment. There's another clump in here, 15 who are doing nothing at the moment. And as long as he can deny the stone, he can deny the castle, which means he can deny the Mangadai. Deny the Mangadai. Sounds like a punk alt punk rock band. And why is he? Why am I yammering on about the Mangadai? Oh my god! Oh my god! Feudal Age unit versus Castle Age unit. Bye bye Feudal Age unit, because technically this unit is a siege unit. It does have siege armor, and so the Mangadai would come out with a nice little attack bonus, I believe +3 against this unit. What an absolute disaster here for our Mongol. Okay, I've said this before. Mangonels in early castle do stand a chance against organ guns, but you have to micro them so carefully because they basically fire twice as slow. This one fires on a 3.5 second delay. A mangonel fires on a 6 second delay. And so because they fire twice and they're faster, they're lighter on their feet. And I believe they also have a shorter minimum range. Yeah, mangonels, unless you're Korean, have 3 minimum range, and the organ gun has 1 minimum range. So you have to really, really micro your mangonels. And that is just not an easy thing to do. Because by the time you get your mangonels out, even 1 or 2, there's probably already 5 or 6 organ guns here inside the base. And now our Portuguese has seen, man, my clicking skills are so bad. In case those of you who have high expectations when I start actually playing this game this year, let that be a lesson to you that it took me about 3 seconds to click on these organ guns. I was going to say, especially since our Portuguese has also established a siege workshop here, which our Mongol sees, and our Mongol is now just throwing villagers into the meat grinder. Even more organ guns hot off their kill of that Feudal Age archer army. And here we go. There's a lot of firing. There's a lot of dying in there. Oh my goodness. I mean, a short but super fun game. What should Mihai have done? I love that he's thiefing the gold. Don't get me wrong, this is fantastic. But what should he have done here? When he saw this castle going up in feudal, should he have canceled wheelbarrow? Allocated so many villagers to stone? I mean, assuming he had the resources to go up to Castle Age, which he did not. I mean, let's put it like this. Cancel wheelbarrow, go up to castle, put all of your villagers on stone. Literally all your villagers. Forget the gold for the moment. Get that castle up and then allocate your economy to train Mangadai. Maybe not all your villagers, but you guys know what I mean. A substantial chunk of your economy should have been stone. And instead, he just doubled down. Another 125 stone, another 125 stone. That's 200. That's almost half a castle's worth of stone. That's like 40% of a castle's worth of stone in these 2 extra towers that didn't really need to go up. Our Portuguese wasn't attacking into here. He was going out, sneaking out like a teenager out the bedroom window through the northern portion of his base. and just streaming organ gun after organ gun after organ gun. And ultimately, even off the back of just one town center, our Portuguese ends the game with a dozen more villagers. Why? Because he killed 10 more villagers than his opponent. And this at the end, attempting to put up a tower right here to secure the stone, tells me Mihai probably agrees with me that he should have done this a little bit earlier, or probably would agree with me, rather, that he should have done that a little bit earlier. Ultimately, though, I wonder how much of this really came down to that first tower being here versus the first tower trying at least to lame the berries. I really do wonder. The berries obviously not that significant right now to the Portuguese meta in this particular game because he has abandoned them. But that first tower accomplished very little in terms of laming anything. Now, it's kind of sour for Mihai, of course, that all three of these resources are in the rear position. So laming them is not exactly an easy job. He's also not the Khmer, the Khmer with a ballista elephant that can bust through this forest in the Castle Age. So he's got to wait till Imperial to get into that base through the forest, if that's even something he wanted to do. Ultimately, though, he does fail to get any kind of real damage done. And because of that, the Portuguese, with that safer stone pile to the back, gets the castle up, starts pumping out. And again, I love that he knew to pump out one petard instead of wasting even what few resources a petard costs on two of them, because he is still was in the feudal age, was our Mongol, and so he knows how walls work, HP and bonuses. I don't need to tell either of these two players how any of that stuff works. But what a fun game. A continuation. During our live streams, we discuss the curse of the failed tower push. When one player does a tower push, it doesn't work or doesn't achieve its intended results, which is to bust into the base and get some kind of more damage done. Invariably, it seems like that player loses the game like 99 times out of 100, if not 100 times out of 100. So this game added to the the confirmation bias pile of, yeah, your tower push failed and you lost the game. On the other hand, you are facing off against the Portuguese. So modern day Portuguese play is very much red phosphoru oriented. You must know that these guys are a huge threat to you. And with a single petard in feudal age, they are a threat that is right in your face. Organ guns. He trained a second petard. I wonder where did that petard go? We saw only one. Maybe I wasn't paying attention enough to the petard count. And I didn't see the second one, but yeah, look at this army. Look at this feudal age army, except for the Mangonel against 14 organ guns. Like I said, on paper, the Mangonel is not a terrible unit against the organ gun because it does come with plus 12 attack against siege. And by the way, it does melee damage. If you're not familiar with how Mangonels work, those rocks get right up in your face. They do melee damage of 40. The organ gun has less melee than pierced armor. So 38 damage plus the 12 is 50. And so they're almost enough to one-shot an organ gun, but not quite enough to one-shot an organ gun. In any event, let's take a look at the peak APMs right at the beginning for both players. The economies, I can't see, yeah, they can't really, we're not too dissimilar. Right up until the end, the Mongol had a decent villager count. And maybe if he had focused instead, not so much on the gold, because at the end of the day, what did Mihai really build that was requiring gold, except from going up to Castle Age? Like, what's the point of all this? Instead, it maybe should have been focused. Like I said, let me know in the comments below. Is there something Mihai could have even done? Or am I just sitting in my ivory tower and hypothesizing and wondering? Because I think the second he saw this, he should have backed off. Maybe he left his villagers and his archers here to, steal as much gold as he could. But he definitely should have reallocated more villagers to stone. And by the time he did so, by the time these villagers were mining stone in earnest, he was already under attack. The petard had busted in. Villagers were pushed off. And so an unfortunate situation here for Mihai, who unfortunately falls to the curse. Military. I mean, this must be this straight line down. This is like every stock I've ever invested in. I invest like here. I'm like, oh, do. Oh, look, it went up a little bit. Then a period of no growth, followed by, oh shit, a reverse split, and now I've lost all my money. That's this is the Isaac Cast of Empires investment strategy. No conversions, didn't get to that point. Buildings destroyed 3-1. Kill counts, let's take a look. 11 villagers to 1. 24 military units kills to 3. At the end of the day, our Mongol killed 3. I believe, organ guns, right? What else could it really be? Sorry, the original scout and 2 organ guns. We did see an organ gun die. Actually, yeah, we did see an organ gun die here, and maybe 2 organ guns died over here in that OG scout. But in any event, the curse of the failed tower push prevails, and it is FreakinAndy who holds the line against not quite so scary tower push out of Mihai. Plops down his castle with that quicker castle age timing. To be fair, having all of your resources to the back, if Mihai had his stone patch right here, probably would have been able to get a castle up. Who's kidding who? So betrayed a little bit by the Tetris piece of stone, our Mongol in yellow decides to tap out, lives to fight another day, and it is FreakinAndy with the pushback, the Portuguese pushback. That sounds like something that should be on Urban Dictionary, who is victorious, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.